In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto. Question everything.
Trust nothing.
It's your boys, Keeper and Crusader, and we have got another special guest. We've got my boy, the man, the myth, the legend, Mineurbiz. Seth,
smash like. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
We need to get one of those, Miguel. We need to get a couple of the little sound effects that, I think Blood has them. I know, I'll tell you who does them a lot is Hotep. Hotep always does yeah, those are definitely fun. So, Crypto fam, listen, it's Veterans Day. Make sure that if you have not already, there's still time. Go thank a veteran. Pop it out there on Twitter. We appreciate each and everybody. All of my fellow veterans, thank you guys for your service. I love you all. I'm glad that you are here. Hopefully you guys are checking things out this evening and wondering what's going on with the crypto space. And I know where to go. Debate crypto. Debate crypto. All right. So, Miguel, what is on the podium this evening, sir?
Well, we're talking about BlockFi, man. Looks like BlockFi might be on the block for chopping up next, with the whole FTX situation going on. And we're going to be going into that. FTX obviously is releasing more details about, the bankruptcy and how the scenario is going. And FTX US is not safe like they tweeted that it was.
Yeah, we've also got some information. Stick around to the end. First of all, make sure that you guys jump into the Discord. If you're not already involved, jump in Danger Close Alpha. The 5 ETH competition is getting ready to start soon. We plan on doing our NFT drop. We're thinking within the next week. So you've got to get involved, get into a faction. It's going to cost you all about $5 to become a holder. So jump in the Discord, jump in a faction, and let's get it on. Have the opportunity to win 5 ETH. But what I was about to say was wait till the end of the show, because the last thing that we're going to talk about has to do, we've heard a whole lot of schemes and things that are going on, but there's some information going on that says that you can get your money out of FTX. So there's some details with that. Make sure you stick around and we will talk about that at the end. All right, let's take a peek. Let's see what's going on in these crypto markets. Maybe something a little different than has been. I don't know. Let's take a look. So the overall global crypto market cap is $861.74 billion with a B dollars. That's down 2.56%. We got Bitcoin just under 17K at 16.9, ETH 12.74, and then BNB. BNB's held stronger than a lot of these different assets. It's at 287, still holding under 300, and actually ETH held up pretty well. And then all the way rounding out down through the top 10, we got Polygon Matic at a little bit over $1. Seth, let me ask you, is there anything right now before we dive into the information about FTX and all the other chaos that's going on? Is there anything in the market right now that you're super excited about?
There's definitely some stuff I'm paying attention to. I appreciate you asking. And the stuff that I'm paying closest attention to, just to be sure that I don't miss, is it's going to sound kind of weird, but I'm paying attention to stables. I don't want to miss on stables, right? What we've noticed in recent history, especially with the UST collapse, we're in the middle of a collapse season, I guess, as things are kind of correcting. We're searching bottom support in the crypto markets. And so I've actually created my own little portfolio just to track the performance of stables, because we keep on hearing, hey, everything's fine, everything's safe. That was actually SBF's term there. Miguel or Crusader. He said, oh, things are fine. FTX is fine. And I retweeted him and made the joke FINU, right? Hashtag FINU. Like CZ's Seifu. And it's like, no, things are not FINU. Things are not Seifu.
Well, hold on. Are you arbitraging these, or you're just watching them?
Currently, I'm just watching them, and here's why. We've got a couple of these algorithmic stables that depeg on the regular. USDD is one that has definitely caught my attention based on the decorrelation. See all that? A little bit of a blip. News cycle this week kind of threw everything off a little bit because people were trying to exit to the safety of stables. They were trying to peg some of their current gains out to stables, and that's kind of an outlier. USDD kind of fell out of vogue, but so did Terra Classic USD, right? So the USTC, everybody was like, oh yeah, we should stop speculating out here and get out of here. It's only the most degen of the degen that are down here, right? Riding that shop from the last couple of days in USTC. Well, over at USDD, does anybody know what that project's all about? Yeah, that's Justin Sun's stablecoin that he made, patterned off of Luna and Tron instead, or pattern off Luna and UST, but using Tron and this one USDD instead, and offering a higher yield as opposed to the way Anchor Protocol was offering that 30%, which was unsustainable. He's offering 40%, right? So that's why I kind of like zooming out and saying, okay, which stable is going to implode next? Because you got a lot of folks saying, maybe with some credibility now, hey, Tether, we're saying that, FTX couldn't collapse. Now everyone's saying the Tether can't collapse, but, Tether FUD is old. How do we balance all of this? And the way I like to do that is just a quick bird's eye view of where am I holding my profits? Everybody needs dry powder, as you know, especially as we're seeking bottom support with the rest of these assets. So, like, what happens if your dry powder gets wet? You're screwed. So we have to pay attention to these two.
What Miguel? Sorry, I thought you were finished there, Seth. My bad. Miguel, what stable coins are you? What stable coin do you feel most comfortable holding? A lot of people that are following and watching will say, "Well, which one do I jump into?" What are you most comfortable with?
The most centralized and controlled one, USDC.
I knew it. Trader, how can
I don't hold
against
any.
my XRP?
But I'm gonna make it clear. I don't hold any stablecoin.
Really? Okay.
I
definitely do. I'm the same way though. USDC, and I do have some Tether. The main reason I have Tether is because a couple of the few small promotions that I have done for TikTok, they've been paying out in Tether, and I just haven't, need to make a flop. So, but I agree, Miguel. USDC, and I know Seth, I know you definitely are of the thought pattern and the notion that unfortunately it is a necessary evil right now in the space. You've got to hold stable coins. The unfortunately the good thing or the solid play is to be with the one that basically has greased the right palms and is in the right place. I mean, what else can you say, right?
I disagree. So
really?
I'll give you a contrarian take here. I appreciate what Miguel is saying about going with one that's most centralized and that plays the game best, we'll say, with the politicians. USDC definitely does fit the bill, right? They talk about essentially being a de facto CBDC. We've made that joke for a while now, right? That USDC is kind of, it's the nearest candidate we have for a CBDC right now because of its regulatory compliance. I think that going a different direction, not necessarily Tether, but going with some of the decentralized options like DAI, right? MakerDAO, right? Like there's a reason that one of the co-founders got suicided. It's because it's too good. There's a reason that McAfee got suicided after telling us that DAI was too good, because it's really that good. It's really that decentralized. So if you want something permissionless, here's the thing. USDC can be remotely frozen. Tether can be remotely frozen. They did that right now with FTX's Tether.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So they can be remotely frozen. All you have to do is be identified as somebody who's the recipient of a post-mix Tornado Cash payout, right? Like, because Tornado Cash is on the crap list, right, of the U.S. Treasury. So they picked up that developer as well, put him in jail. The FOID did, not even our law enforcement, but their law enforcement picked up that guy. And the U.S. Treasury has basically made it clear, we don't like encryption. There's nothing illegal about it still, other than those smart contracts are wrong. So I still worry about the chilling effect of them basically trying to corral us towards USDC. And so for me, I'm like, I don't like that. So I don't want to use it.
You know what?
Do you think DAI can get Terra Luna?
No, not at this point. They are looking at, in terms of their treasury, the way that they're issuing, the way that they're minting new DAI, they are diversifying the basket that backs it. And you like the little unintentional poetry there. So as far as the way that they're backing it up, right, they're kind of going a different direction with it. They talked about just having ETH, and even Vitalik was like, guys, we're in a bear market. Don't do that. And I think their collateralized debt position that they're in right now, we don't have to worry about that quite as much if they continue to diversify into things like bonds. So I think we're a little safer.
Crusader, I remember you and I having a conversation a little while back about stablecoins, and you said almost to the word exactly what Seth just said. He said, it worries me a little bit about them corralling us in. I remember I was standing in my kitchen having a conversation on the phone with you. I remember it like it was yesterday. And you said, yeah, but listen, Keeper, the problem is if they corral us where they want us to go, there's a reason for it. Right. And so what is that reason? Do they have some sort of a game plan? And the question becomes, is that possibly where we're headed? So I guess I want to clarify. I 100% agree with you on that, Seth, as far as like them being able to freeze funds and all that. I'm glad that you brought that up. For me, because I hold so little in stable coins currently, I think that that's the least likely to have some sort of a catastrophe. Although, guess what? It's all off the table now because you had one of the top 3 exchanges just go kaput overnight. And it's made me realize how unsure everything besides my Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum, like actually probably, I think, are.
Yeah, your Bitcoin could get a 50% haircut still, though, right before the end of this market.
But I'm still in profits at that point. You know what I mean? So like I'm cool with that. I'm not cool with that, but you know, I'm cool with that if I got enough dry powder on the side. And I know what you're about to shout out.
Quick shout out to Magic and everybody. Thank you for the super chat, boys. Because the shirt limit is 2 on the show. So
don't be encouraging shirts to come off again this show. Okay, Andrew Tate is not here this evening. No, he is not. All right, cool. Let's dive in. Let's check it out. Let's start with what everybody knows is happening, but I want to talk about it a little bit further. We'll actually hit this one a little bit quicker and then dive into the other 2 a little deeper. FTX files for bankruptcy protections in the U.S. There is the criminal himself, Sam Bankman-Fried. Crypto exchange FTX filed for bankruptcy protection in the U.S., the Bahamas-based company said Friday. CEO and founder Sam Bankman-Fried also resigned his role, but will assist in orderly transition. John Ray III is the new CEO. Ray appears to be the same individual who previously oversaw the Enron Corporation bankruptcy. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember that, but I know Seth and I remember that. In the short term, we have some long days of hard work ahead of us, Ray told employees in the message verified by CoinDesk. He called the bankruptcy filing, quote, the beginning of a path forward. The bankruptcy filing said Alameda Research had between $10 billion and $50 billion in liabilities and a similar range in assets, and estimated that funds will be available for distribution to unsecured.
And I just want to quickly add to that.
Yeah.
The 10 to 50 billion liabilities, talking about Elron, they only had like 23 billion.
Oh, you're talking about Enron?
Yeah, Enron only had like 23 billion. They've got about 50, if that is the range. So it's way worse.
So let's talk about this real quick. What happens to, okay, you file for bankruptcy as a company, as a corporation, however whether it's chapter 9, chapter 11, chapter 13, whatever chapter they file, I'm not a bankruptcy attorney. But let me ask both of you, what's the play here? Why are they filing for bankruptcy, and what's the benefit of them doing that?
It depends on the chapter that they do. And here's the thing. I need to let your audience know, with all the expertise I'm about to drop here, it's also not advice. So like as I understand it, the chapter that you select matters. It has to do with the way that the assets are lined up for liquidation. It has to do whether or not anybody can be assigned by the corporation to facilitate that liquidation versus having a trustee assigned by the bankruptcy court. And if a trustee is assigned by the bankruptcy court, it winds up going a very different direction than I think the chapter that they filed for. So I think they're able to direct this. I think that's why they were able to like go and select their dream team for bankruptcy, the Enron guy. But yeah, that's my understanding of it. But the reason that you might want to have some say in it and try to direct some of the outcome is so that you can maximize the profit of that liquidation, make your investors whole a little bit more, and then salvage your reputation along the way because you're the one actively involved in damage control, as opposed to having basically a judge and a trustee talk at you for the next 2 years and make you look like a criminal. If you look like you're helping and you're proactive, way better optics, and possibly you get to work again in the industry in 5 years.
Didn't even think about that. And before I get Crusader's info on this, we've got a little one here trying to remind you, listen, be your own bank. That's what this is all about. Get the ledger link down below the video. Be your own bank. Don't get FTX'd. Okay.
That's right. Don't get FTX'd. It's a lot cheaper to own a hardware wallet than losing all your money.
That's right. So Crusader, I know that you again are not going to be a bankruptcy attorney either, but why are they so quick immediately to run to bankruptcy? Because this is a very normal thing to happen. Let's use can't even say his name, but his first name's Alex, right? Last name rhymes with Bones. Don't want to say his name on here, but he immediately filed for bankruptcy, even when they were asking for a number that he would never even kind of have. But why is that the first thing they run to?
By the way, they're asking him for more money now.
Well, more than $900 billion or $900 million.
Another 300 million or something like that. Yeah. But that's a whole other story.
You can't get blood from a turnip at that point. That's so dumb.
But I mean, it's protection, right? It's the thing you got to do to protect yourself, right? Like Mineurbiz said, right? It's optics. You're cooperating with the system, right? If you try to fight it, it's only going to be worse for you, right? At that point, you know you're pinned. You know, it's time to lube up because it's gonna get bad. So
we're gonna disregard that last little comment there, but no, I love it. I do. I agree with you. They are ultimately just trying to protect themselves, and unfortunately, every single person that has money in FTX, I'm gonna say it. You've heard other people say it. I'm sorry. There's nothing else that you can say. Everyone in the crypto space has lost money one way or another. I have lost money being irresponsible leverage trading. I've accidentally lost money before not paying attention to what network I was sending something to. I think we all learn lessons. I just hope that nobody on the stream learns too hard of a lesson. There's some lessons that get learned. And I know I'm kind of a person that does really like grab hold of hard lessons learned, but I never want to see somebody lose their life savings or something, because think about it, 100 grand, right, to one of these big shots is a drop in the bucket. 100 grand probably to most of the people on our stream is going to be a massive amount of money that's important for their family. So I just feel, you know what I mean, right here. And again, stick around for the last article, because we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a way that people have been getting some funds out, and whether that's a, you know, anything legit, as if anything. Right,
and if you did lose your money on FTX, we got a 5 ETH competition. You might be able to make some of it back with us. So, you know, we're trying to help.
Point. How do they do that? How do they do that?
Real simple. Join the Discord, become a holder, be active, and get involved in the competition. 5 ETH is on the table.
And I want to say, one of the things that we are trying to do a better job of, we were talking about this earlier in Danger Close Alpha, is continuing to bring you solid prepper information. A lot of you got involved for that purpose. And I want to throw out there, we've been talking to our partners over at PrepperNet, and we're working on a little something for you as a regular rollout. I'll just say that. So stick around. Pay attention for that. We're excited to continue to bring you the alpha, and we will continue to bring you information that actually is just straight up prepping related. Okay, let's move over here. Let's talk about BlockFi for a second. BlockFi suspends withdrawals after FTX collapse. Okay, tell me more. Crypto lender BlockFi suspended withdrawals and will not be able to operate business as usual given the lack of clarity over the status of FTX, the company said on Twitter. We are shocked and dismayed by the news regarding FTX and Alameda. The company tweeted, for the time being, BlockFi will limit platform activity and client withdrawals will be paused. Quote, as is allowed under our terms, the company said. No exact time frame was specified in our terms of service restoration. I'm just going to stop right there. As is in our terms. So, Mineurbiz, my brother. Do you actually tell the truth? Okay, we need truth right here. Okay. We don't lie on Debate Crypto. Do you read the freaking terms of service on everything that you sign up for?
Yes. I'm sorry. Let me
what are we supposed to
do?
What are we supposed to do? It is literally 15 pages of just absolute garbage in very small writing that ultimately in the middle of it could say, hey, by the way, we can steal all your money and there ain't anything you can do about it. And you would click, oh yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, everybody did that with Celsius, and they complained about how you can't do that. It's against the terms of service. And a bunch of Bitcoiners, because being the way they are, they kept a receipt on that and said, actually, we printed out the terms of service for you. Let me read it for you over here on crypto Twitter. And they just made everybody feel like crap because of it. And that's exactly right with all these. Everybody did, right? With BlockFi as well. They did it with Nexo. And I mean, where is Nexo right now? Right? All these other lending platforms, Voyager, and now FTX, it's really difficult to get through all those pages. I mean, we were talking about, I think before the stream, pre-gaming, talking about like legalese. No normal person speaks it, let alone 15 pages of it in terms of service. Like, and for anything, you sign up for a brand new Gmail account, nobody knows what the terms are. Even this, we're streaming on YouTube. We don't know what the current absolute state of YouTube terms of service are. Nobody does.
Yep. It's always safe to assume that whatever terms you're agreeing to, they're going to, get the upper hand on you one way or another. It's never going to be in your benefit. It's always going to be in their benefit. So when it comes to money, when it comes to anything, don't trust it.
Yeah, and I think
end up good.
I totally agree. And I think the main thing that we need to learn here, if we haven't learned it already, is we genuinely have been saying this for our channel started in August of 21. So it's been a little bit over a year. We have been telling you since August of 21, and actually before that, even on TikTok, before we got together, be your own bank. And I think people got tired of there you go, right there. There's a ledger right there. I think people got they're like, I know, I got to keep, we got the Arculus as well. I know I got to keep my stuff on a hardware wallet. But listen, it's for most people, it's this big scary thing that I don't think it needs to be. And so I would just challenge everyone. If you are, and again, yes, it helps support the stream. I think we get like $10 or something if you do click the link down below. But I'm not saying for this reason. But what I'm saying it for is, like Crusader said earlier, it's a lot cheaper to pay for a hardware wallet than it is to get your money frozen and possibly never back. And so what I would challenge you is, if you did do the ledger, there's a 12-minute video on YouTube. Imagine that, on YouTube. Get on there, you sit down, you plug in your ledger, and you pause, play, pause, play, pause, play. And it is literally the most, I promise you, my 6-year-old nephew theoretically could do what needs to be done to set that up. So as long as you're smart on the back end, as long as you have a game plan for your keys, as long as you have a backup for your backup, whatever that looks like. And I want to pass that over to Seth. Seth, what is that? You are the security king. You sent me a text earlier tonight about security, and I was like, huh? Didn't even know what you were talking about, right? But you are the king as it relates to privacy and security. So tell me, what is a smart way for people? And I do want this to be advice, because it's not financial advice. It's just saying, hey, here's a good way to do something in the crypto space. What's a good way for people to store their keys?
A great way for people to store their keys is, first off, understand what a seed phrase is. So it's before you get keys for your crypto wallets, you start with something called a seed phrase or a mnemonic phrase. Between 12 and 24 words. I was going to show you some advanced devices too. We got some show and tell here. This is from Passport, or the foundation device is the Passport 2. It's an entirely air-gapped device that runs everything. So there's all kinds of cool stuff out there. Like, the rabbit hole is deep, but the ledger is good enough. Like, I'm going to echo everything you guys said. Anybody that doesn't have one, like, that's the first thing. Click their link. It also shows Amazon or wherever the Debate Crypto team is forwarding that link to. It shows them that they're being very serious about education and they're taking care of you. So even if you don't buy anything, just click the link. You're going to do these guys a huge solid by showing that activity, and they will remember. The partners will remember when we get back into the bull run. Let me grab something as a different visual aid, because this is the absolute hands down. Like, we could experience World War III. You'd still have your keys. Let me show you though. I got this goes pretty deep here, and I've got this one actually set up as a visual aid. I've got an 1/8-inch thick steel plate here. You can get this as flat bar from any hardware store. If you wanted to just cut it yourself with an angle grinder, you could. There are a few groups that sell them in this sort of credit card size format here. Bottom line is, you'll take either a scribe pen, the ones that have the little carbide tip, or you'll grab a Dremel tool, some kind of rotary tool for etching you might use for hobbies, and you're just going to put your seed phrase right in it. You might be able to see right there. I've kind of got, as a visual aid, seed phrase written right there. Now, it's just Sharpie that I've got there. You'll etch it into the metal, and then that you can store. You can store it underground. You can wrap it, put a membrane around it, put like Plasti Dip or something around it. Bury it in your backyard.
So you're saying don't etch the words, the whole seed phrase into the.
Correct. Etch the seed phrase, not your private keys, the seed phrase that you generate for your hardware wallet. And then here are 2 more things that your audience needs to know. Do not put it in a safety deposit box. When you do that, it's out of your custody, and it can be seized with no probable cause. Do not trust a safety deposit box. I'll say it a third time. Safety deposit boxes are not for you if you're involved in crypto. So find some other place to put this. Yeah. Yeah, it's a misnomer, right? But you can put it all kinds of other places. You can make sure it's waterproof and then bury it somewhere. You can make multiples of it and make sure that people who you know are part of your mutual aid society, your family, possibly hold it for you. As long as you know that you have that kind of alignment with them and they're safe. Normally, I would say don't do that, but the prepper sensibility tells me you need to find, like, you always need a tribe, right? So, or you can do a split seed phrase and leave a third of it with somebody else, right? And that way you get all of it and collect it to be able to set up a new wallet if you had to. But etching it in metal and then hiding that in a place where an attacker isn't likely to guess it. You want it to be steel, not aluminum. Aluminum is picked up by metal detectors actually a lot more easily. Steel is not. Believe it or not, it's not easily picked up by metal detectors, but go bury that somewhere or go place it somewhere that is not obvious. That will ensure that your seed phrase and your crypto survive you.
So I'm not going to get it out right now. I'm not going to get it out right now, but I actually think I have one more of these that we need to give away. And Miguel, with all that's going on right now, remind me, let's do a giveaway of the so we have a set, and I'm spacing on the name right now, and they're going to kill me because they sent it to me and I just don't have it in front of me right now. I'm spacing on
the
the name.
crypto tag.
The crypto tag, yes. And so I don't know if you've seen these, Seth, or not, but essentially, you know what a BIP39 list is. So for any of you watching, BIP39 list is, I think it's 2,400 words is the list that the seed phrases come from. Okay, so the 12 to 24 word phrases that you get come from this list of 2,400 words. A lot of people don't know that. Okay, and they're all numerically numbered. Okay, the crypto tag it is a bulletproof. It's not bulletproof for 7.62 or 5.56, but it is bulletproof for a 9 mil, 38, 40 cal, all of that, right? It is a bulletproof sheet of steel, just like Seth was showing you, and it has little punch outs on it with numbers, and you punch out the different numbers that correlate with the different numbers on the seed phrase. Unless you 100% knew crypto, you would have no idea what you're looking at. It is fireproof. It is bulletproof. It is a great way to do things. And again, Crusader, remind me, let's do a giveaway on one of those. There's just too much going on right now in the hardware, that for hardware wallets not to be at the top of the list of discussions, because I don't see any other way that we genuinely feel good about going to sleep at night with a whole bunch of money anywhere else. I don't. Do you?
Yep. Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, Ledger, hardware wallets, whatever it is, 100%. That's the way to go if you're trying to keep yourself secure, right? Obviously, like Mineurbiz pointed out, that little thing that looked like a cell phone, right, like an old Nokia phone, they're indestructible. Actually, is a whole lot safer, but that's a whole nother level. You can just start with a Ledger. No need to get started on such a higher level.
So before we do this, make sure to smash the likes. We got 71 people in here. First of all, you could be anywhere, and you are here with Debate Crypto on a Friday night. We freaking love you. We appreciate you for being here. Make sure that you follow Mr. Mineurbiz. Both of his main links are down below the video, so make sure that you click on there. Make sure to subscribe. Do your thing there. And then, as always, give us a follow on all of our socials. We've got 2 different Twitters. I mean, hey, verified on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Well, actually, hold on a second. Danger Close Alpha is verified on Twitter. Debate Crypto, working on it. Okay, working on it.
By the way,
go ahead.
Sauce Boss, thank you for the super chat. Says, hey, reach out to me in the Discord if you need help setting them up. I lost 5 figures in Celsius. I don't want that to happen to anyone else.
Hey, hold on. And Sauce Boss, everyone appreciates you, but to be clear, no Sauce Boss is not going to ask you when you help set it up, hey, just read those words to me in order, if you could, please. No. He's just saying, hey, if you just need a little bit of a hand or a couple questions, that he'd be willing to help out. So we appreciate you, Sauce Boss. All right, cool. So check this out. Smash the likes, jump in the Discord, get your opportunity to win 5 ETH. We've got a lot coming up soon. But if you were involved in FTX, this is probably going to really rattle you, okay? How to get your money out of FTX, but only if you're filthy rich. A mysterious wash trading arbitrager has, it appears, found a cunning way to retrieve his or her frozen millions from the rubble of FTX. Okay. I'm listening. In the wake of the complete collapse of the crypto exchange FTX, along with its founder, SBF's multi-billion-dollar fortune, it appears further financial chicanery is afoot. Withdrawals and internal balance transfers in the non-American... Whoa, what just happened? Withdrawals and balance transfers in the non-American iterations of the exchange have been frozen since the exchange's collapse earlier this week, leaving billions of dollars in customer funds stranded and irretrievable. On Thursday, FTX had announced that it resumed withdrawals, blah, blah. But check this out. Images then began to circulate online of an enigmatic account performing daily trades of upward of $300 million, split into countless trades of around 70 grand, considerably more than the account usually traded. Observers wondered whether it was part of a clever, albeit highly illegal attempt by users outside the Bahamas to retrieve millions in otherwise frozen funds. Here's how it worked, right? Person A with funds stuck on FTX and person B with a Bahamian KYC account. B makes a market buy 738.2 at 784.1. A buys B's offer and sells their bid over and over, transferring funds from A's account to B's account at a 6% amount, basically fee each round trip. Now, sneaky, yes. People are going to be super upset, yes. was this quite possibly one of the more cunning, smart things maybe you've seen from somebody in the space, or was this one of the the big dogs within? We're talking $300 million. That's not an everyday person thing to do. Was that a phone call being made by SBF saying, "Hey, listen, we're going to move some funds. Here's how we're going to do it"?
That's pure speculation. Going on record, I can't actually answer that directly, right? But what I can say is that does require insider level knowledge to commit an exploit like that so fast.
That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, I do not put it past them that the whole FTX situation was a setup to get heavy regulation imminently, right? Like quickly, as soon as possible. There's also been Kevin O'Leary's been out talking. I just saw his interview on Crypto Jeb's channel. If you guys haven't seen it, talking about how Bitcoin is not going to surpass 22K until regulation happens. He mentioned there was a few bills for
Kevin O'Leary said that.
Yeah, that it would not surpass 22,000 until there is regulation in place and institutional money comes back and carries it.
Yeah, did anybody tell Bitcoin that? Because I think Bitcoin doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, apparently
I agree. And this is the same Kevin O'Leary. It's the same Kevin O'Leary that fudded Bitcoin for a long time while he was stacking it, just to be clear.
Well, for sure, right? And now that he's in with the big boys, right, with the institutional players, the whole game is that institutions are the only ones that can carry Bitcoin all the way to the top again. The whole 69K Bitcoin was only done by over-leveraged degens in the space, and that's not going to ever happen again due to the regulations that are coming. And there's basically 2 regulation bills that he mentioned. I don't remember the names of them, but one had to do with USDC stablecoins. It was pretty much stablecoin transparency type of bill, and then the other one was something along the lines of just in general crypto regulations so that institutions can get involved.
So let me ask this. I want to ask you specifically, Seth. This thank you from the Naked Canadian says there's a loophole in the Bahamas that allowed that. Also, if U.S. goes through with regulation, that will kill DeFi in the U.S. and the devs will leave there and work outside the U.S. How do you feel about that? Do you think that regulations coming to the crypto space are going to make an overall net negative impact on the space? And if so, is this person correct? They're going to be going overseas to start working.
It's already made a net negative impact in the space. And here's what I mean. The lack of regulation and lack of clarity. So groups like, not so much FTX, but others like Coinbase, right? Some of those that are still in operation that don't appear to have any signs of serious problems. They've been begging the SEC for regulatory clarity since they started. And Coinbase is going on like the better part of 10 years now, begging the SEC for regulatory clarity. Yep. Groups like Kraken, for example, and Gemini, Gemini has a BIT license in New York. It was the hardest license to get. But groups like Gemini and Kraken, they have redundant sort of corporate filings and LLCs registered as foreign entities, as fallback entities, because they have to, because they know at any moment the other shoe can drop. And yeah, the U.S. will tell them like, look, you guys didn't play by the rules. And they'll say, look, guys, we asked you for 5 years. We begged you for 5 years, 6 years, 8 years. We begged you to tell us what those rules were, and you didn't say a word. Now you idiots want to tell us that we broke those rules? Now, we already have our infrastructure set up in other places. They are about 70 to 80% redundant overseas. Even the United States or the American-based exchanges are about 70 to 80% redundant in their corporate infrastructure. They're ready. So these lawmakers can think like, oh, well, not here, not on American soil. Those guys will be like, really? You finally just came out and say it? Finally. Thank you. We're out of here. But I don't want to see that. I'm a proud American. I think there's a lot broken here, but we got still the best thing going. I really like it. I love the protections that we enjoy or supposed to enjoy that are supposed to be protected under law in our constitutional amendments. And I hate seeing it become an anti-competitive place so that businesses have to go other places. It's like what we saw in California with Tesla, right? Like you go too far down the authoritarian path and business just leaves. So I hate seeing that, but I think that these groups are ready.
Miguel, what are your thoughts on regulation, dude? I know we've talked about this privately quite a bit, but what kind of give the people what you're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, it's necessary for big corporations like that, right? For institutional players to get involved or whatever. But I don't know, man. There's just so many sketchy things happening in the background, so many false flag attacks, so many, other kinds of things that have happened outside of the mainstream media that has involved the government, that I don't put it past them that they are setting something up that would only benefit the top players, right? We've seen Bitcoin and cryptocurrency come all the way down to 16,000 right now. Could even go another 50%, right? Even lower. And could this be their way of setting back the boat, right? Pulling the boat back, putting in the regulations that they want to make sure that only benefits them, and then they push the boat back up. And the average people are screwed. Right? They don't want the average person to be making life-changing money. They just don't. No government entity wants that, because at the end of the day, yes, money's not happiness, but money is freedom in a lot of places and almost worldwide, right? You have a problem, you got money, you're going to be able to solve that problem. And at the end of the day, they don't want that. They want you dependent of the government, so they don't want you to be making life-changing money.
I couldn't agree more, and I want to throw something out there too. Shout out! I don't think she's in here right now, but shout out to one of my little sisters. I get a text message as I'm on the stream, and she asks me, and I quote, she says, "How does FTX affect you?" Well, let me just tell you something. My little sister doesn't know a damn thing about crypto. Okay, so and that's okay, right? She's not involved in crypto, but why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because if she heard about this and is concerned, it doesn't surprise me that she's concerned to ask me, right? Like, we're really close. But the fact that she heard about this tells me one thing: they're pushing hard. They are pushing hard to get this news out there. They are pushing hard for people that do not pay attention to crypto, for people that aren't invested in the space, for people that don't really have any vested interest, to find out, the big bad crypto. And that's part of the whole game plan, right? That's part of what when Crusader was suggesting, hey, this whole FTX, debacle, could it be a game plan from the start? The real question, I think, is, okay, let's play that tape through. If it was a game plan from the start, did SBF know that he was a pawn being moved around on a chessboard? Because I also wonder, right? He can be the big bad wolf and he could know what he was doing, but I could see just as well our government saying, boop, 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 checkmate, and just moving him around the board, right? And pumping him up and telling him all these great things, and just ultimately using him as not only the pawn to move around the board to put the American people into check, but also the one to flop over on his side and take the bullet from everybody, because he's taking it from all sides right now. So I think it's a really interesting thing, because it's coming from all directions. They have information coming, getting spit out everywhere, and there has to be an agenda at play when that many people are getting involved in understanding and hearing about what's happening in the crypto space. It just has to be. I don't see any other way around it.
Yeah, that's a deep conspiracy theory, man. And I've got to say that it does track. I mean, you got a lot of these people who they fit the profile of somebody who's been controlled early in their tenure by spooks, right? Potentially, they sort of, like, you see them start to deteriorate. I'm just saying, man, right? Like they look like they've been spooked, so to speak. And it just kind of tracks with their behavior, right? Where they're like, okay, we're going to get deeper in the hole with this debt, and maybe it's going to spiral out of control, but I got my golden parachute over here also growing, and so I'm going to be fine. And my handlers are going to make me untouchable. Like, dude, Do Kwon is still not in jail. Martin Shkreli is out of jail, apparently. They did a live stream on Up Only. The three of them, Martin Shkreli, right, Do Kwon, and Sam. And
he said jail's not so bad.
Right? Yeah. He was making a joke. And then he says that to Do Kwon, but Sam goes off his camera. And the host is like, Sam, you there? Like, he got really worried for a second, but I think that, like you're saying, they haven't sacrificed him yet. They haven't committed pawn sacrifice just yet, but they are making him sweat a little bit. They're gonna see him through, though. Whoever is potentially organizing this, if there's any kind of an actual collusion, if there's any real conspiracy going on, then they are making him really worry. So he does all the things he's supposed to do, right? Hits his marks, says all the stuff he's supposed to say, and then on the other end, once he's gotten it to the point that everybody, that is in his handler group can say, like, all right, he did his job. They're not going to suicide him. They're going to put him out to pasture. And he's not even going to go to jail. He's just going to be put out to pasture happily with his golden parachute, still going to be out there, living his best life, touching grass, dating women, I guess, if there's
And
anybody
that's what
that
he's
dates
into.
That's his thing. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, I 100% believe they're gonna just sweep it under the rug when everybody forgets about it, right? In the next couple of weeks, next month or two, and then just like, hey, he just got away with it, and nobody even remembered, right? Because people's attention span are short. Something else will happen, right? Whether it's a pump or another dump in the market, and people are gonna forget about FTX. They're gonna forget about Sam Bankman-Fried. Where is he at in the court case? What's happening? This and that, and they're not even gonna know that he's just out there free to go, and nothing happened.
Yeah, it just fades off into the distance. And I have one last thing I want to say on that. I personally don't know that I believe that you get to be a billionaire with a B in the United States without having some sort of interaction, let's say, with a government agency or some big time tech companies that have a lot of government persuasion, right? We saw with all of the COVID stuff, them admitting openly about how much they persuaded the Facebook, you know, the Twitter and the
Dude,
Instagram.
his parents have been lobbying Congress before.
It's my whole, that's exactly. So it's almost like you used to hear people talk about it, and Crusaders talked about it before. They have like these chosen ones. And if you like dive in, and I know it sounds wild and people take it, you know, this conspiratorial things that we talk about sometimes, but listen, if you break it down and you look at the, family lineage and the things that go on between different presidents and different candidates,
They're all
and
related.
they're all somehow, like, that cannot be a coincidence, right? We have to understand that there can be a coincidence here and there. But so at any event, all that just to say, I do wonder what's actually happening. I think we're going to maybe find out little bits and pieces, but we'll never get the whole story. And I don't think that he's going to end up doing jail time as much as, you know,
Dude, and even if he does, what is he gonna do? He's gonna be in a white collar jail, playing tennis, getting manicures, right? Just chilling, right? Having spa days, getting spa days, right? Becoming a reformed human, and then they come back out, right? He's gonna be the next Wolf of Wall Street, selling a bestseller book about how he survived FTX and all the craziness, right? And then he's gonna show up there with all the motivational
just set up for life.
And that's it, bro.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah, can I share something with your audience real fast?
Sure.
This will be fun. So this has been making the rounds. I cannot confirm where this came from, but you read it plain as day right there. And I'm sure you two have already seen this, but maybe your audience hasn't. Just be aware. This is no longer a secret list. This is out there. You can find this, and you can figure out if any group that you are interested in, or that you have any investments into, or if you've gotten into an early round,
some issues
by way of a they just might, depending on if this is fully realized, or if there's some kind of a vesting schedule, if they're on some kind of milestone system with the Alameda or the FTX group, because it just means that that some of this is not forthcoming and those teams will not be able to execute on their vision. So try to find this. I'm not going to provide a link. I don't think that you two should either, but I have no problem showing it, and I can't say where it came from, and I can't show the link, but it's out there. The information wants to be free. And I know, just like these two fine gentlemen, we want to protect our people, right? The retail. So
no doubt. 100%. No doubt. And speaking of retail, speaking of our people, everybody in here, thank you guys for being here. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Make sure you give Seth a subscription, give him a sub, smash the likes for the stream tonight. Jump in Twitter. You already know what it is. TikTok. Jump into Danger Close Alpha, get involved in our Discord, get yourself the opportunity to win 5 ETH. Do all of the things, and in the name of preparing yourself. Everything we've been talking about tonight, it's an interesting correlation, has been about preparing your funds and being your own bank, being prepared, because ultimately things are happening bad for people that aren't being their own bank. That's not being prepared, as we've been talking about. On the other side of things with Danger Close Alpha, we're talking about prepping. We're talking about preparing for the, harsh reality that sometimes life doesn't end up the way that you want it to be, and you might have to just be ready. And I know there's 3 people on this stream that believe that, and definitely live some sort of that lifestyle. So just remember, question everything.
Trust nothing.
And until next time, hodl
like it's hot.
We'll see you soon.